So, just been to go outdoors again. We're off tomorrow lunchtime, catching a train. Apprehensive, there we go, that's what I go for. It's like, oh, okay, it's a long walk. The weather's not great down in Spain at the moment. They actually, I don't think they're probably getting more rain than we're getting at the moment, and a reasonable amount of snow on the mountain passes. There's 3 mountain ranges we go through, although I'm sure the latter ones we're not going to see any snow, because it'll be a month on before we get into those. But getting across the Pyrenees, yeah, we might see might be some sleety snow. I mean, there's proper snow up there. I think last week they closed one of the passes. It doesn't mean that the route's closed, you just have to take a lowland route, which is quite often a road route rather than up across the top of the mountains. Yeah, so just bought myself a micro fleece. Normally I just wear a shirt that I've got at the moment, and I've got my gilet, and I've got a really nice rab lightweight fleece that goes over the top, that packs down to nothing. And the other day when I was packing up, I packed a merino wool t-shirt, so I got another layer that's crept in there. And then I was thinking, oh, I don't know, it's easy to leave stuff. I mean, you can buy stuff on route at St John, Pied de Port. There's masses of shops selling stuff, and then later on, but actually from St John, definitely the first couple of days are up over the top, 2 days walking uphill to go over the top of the pass into Spain. So it's like you got what you got, and I thought, let's just go and take another layer, and we can always go and leave it at an alberge later on if we decide we don't need it. It doesn't weigh very much, it's quite bulky, but I got a big old bag which is very heavy at the moment, I must say. I haven't actually got around to weighing it. I used to have a set of scales I used for my 10 tours guides, and used to 14 kilos would be typical for them. Well, there's no way that ours weighs anywhere close to that, and if you spend a lot of money you get it down. I think the lightest I ever got one of my team participants was down to 12 kilos. He was a small guy and deep pockets in terms of spending and getting some nice kit. We've been pretty careful. So, I mean, I think our sleeping bag's like 400 grams. It's incredibly light. Just a one season, we've tried it and it's lovely. So I'm fairly confident with that. We're sleeping inside. So unlike 10 tours, I'm going to go and take a 3 season sleeping bag, which is probably 1.5 kilos for a decent one. But not taking a ground mat, so I mean that's another sort of 400 or 500 grams. Not taking a cooker or a tent, which they would split between the 3 of them, but they're probably taking another at least another kilo and a half of their portion of the tent or the sleeping bag. They tend to split the tent 2 ways, and the tent's usually a bit over 3 kilos, and then they big old transient cookers, which are solid as anything, but heavy old beasts. Not got all that, and then the same with the food. They've got to go and carry 2 days worth of food, so it's at least 1 kilo a day. We shall take some snacks. Actually, we have to take lunch on the first 2 days, because once you leave St John Pied de Port, the next stop is actually the alberge that we're staying at. We're doing quite a short day the first day, only 8k, starting nice and gentle, and then the second day I think it's about 17. So a lot of people do those 2 combined together as a first hit. And a second day is not a town either. That's a great big monastery, and so staying in the monastery, and there's nowhere else to eat other than the monastery. And so we've pre-booked a bed there, which comes with a meal and comes with breakfast, but we've also booked a packed lunch for the next day, because there won't be anywhere to get food for the next day, is day 2. It's going to take us quite a few days to get down there. We could have whizzed down. It's not like lots of these places, when we went cycled end to end. That was one of the most challenging bits, is how do you get to the start, and how do you get to the from the finish with your bike. And it's a similar thing with the Camino. So we've opted to go by train, which would be quite nice. So we're catching a train up tomorrow, up to London, night in London, then a train across to Paris, night in Paris, and then a train the following day down to Bayonne, a night in Bayonne, and then a little thing that stops everywhere, St John Pied de Port. And then actually we've booked 2 nights in St John Pied de Port, because it could be, big queues to go and get your passport to start the pilgrimage. And so we thought, rather than try and get the passport the same day we're trying to leave and then getting stressed because we want to get going, we give ourselves a day to go and get the passport, which no way is going to take us all day, but we can go and get that sorted, and then the following day we'll be able to leave at well, normally you leave at sunrise, but because it's only 8k within the first day, we need to break our back to get there. And we've actually also got some accommodation booked. That's that sorted. I'll see if I can weigh my bag. I'm just popping up to Hannock with the dogs, go and have a walk, see mum and dad. But that'll be nice, although it's raining, of course. So we'll see how it goes. And then we took the grandchildren up to Belvedere Tower up at Holden yesterday, which was lovely. Favourite place of mine. Sun was shining, it was good. And although I've got my 2 stones, pebbles, so it's right on the border. I don't know whether you call them pebbles or stones, but we'll go for stones. From Teen Head. Actually, the Belvedere is somewhere special to me, so I ended up picking up a couple of similar sized stones from Belvedere Flint. But, I was reading, they've got some quite cool signs up on Holden now, telling you some of the history around the area. And in the First World War, it was natural deciduous woodland, and that was completely felled to for pit props and bits and pieces for doing the trenches in the First World War. And then when they came to replant it, it was heavily peated, and so they actually burnt the peat off. Job to imagine these days. I don't know how deep the peat was up there. I mean, not that far from Dartmoor, so I bet it was a good metre, maybe more. But yeah, they burnt the peat off of Holden Hill to then go and replant it with the Forestry Commission. It's funny, isn't it? We look at things like that today in horror, but the same thing will happen to us at the moment. Give it a decade or a few, people will look back at things that we're doing now in horror, but it's just what it is now. We kind of accept where it is, driving my diesel car around, which may or may not be a good idea, I don't know. But anyhow, I've got a couple of months, well, 7 weeks on Shanks's pony, which will be nice. Speak to you soon. The dog's being braver than me today. Many a time I swim up here. It's lovely in all the various pools, but I'm not feeling it today. They turned into a bit of a fair weather swimmer. Although actually I've done a bit recently in some very cold locations. I'd like to say it's going to be warmer when we go down to Spain, but it's likely to be. It's surprising how cold the mountain rivers can be. We had great success with, I'll show you a bit later, with scallop shells. Big shout out to Teen Diving, Jess there. She had a word with a couple of commercial divers that get their air in, and they dropped us in a load of scallop shells, and then it was sort of like, a bit sort of nervous how easy it's going to be to drill a hole in a scallop shell. Turns out it's really easy. I used the spade bit, I'll show you in a bit, and lots of different ways you can drill holes in scallop shells. You end up doing that weird googly bit where you go and Google at pilgrimage Camino scallop shells, which were traditionally they're their cup to drink from and their plate to eat from. But it's just become a symbol of the Camino. Yeah, so they're all done and tied on, and then like all things, we had a bit of an adventure. Went and YouTube to see the best way to clean the shells up a bit. They were pretty good, but why not? And they said soak it in bleach for about a week, really. Ours only got soaked for 5 days, and I didn't have enough bleach, so I mixed a couple of bleaches because I thought, oh, just bleach is bleach. Turns out not. So I got some chemical reaction with some really impressive gases. I think probably chlorine gas. Got very hot. Did a very good job of bleaching the shells, but wasn't so hot in the kitchen. I had to go and cling film them up and take them outside. It was an unexpected little adventure. So thanks to Jess at Teen Diving. So here's my scallop shells that I got from Teen Diving. Lots of ways you can drill holes, but so I'm just going to use a spade bit, and I'll put it in here. Apply a little gentle pressure. And pushing very gently. Slowly going in. There we go, until it goes up quite quick now. So I've got a bit of a hole there now. You can see that one. But, and we'll make that a bit bigger so we can get a piece of string for it. There it is. One hole, so we just need to do one on the other side. I can sell them on eBay. Not quite, but trying to get it equally lined up. And that one went through a lot quicker. So we go. Got 2 holes in it. Simple as that. And a finished article on my bag. A nice little bit of red string, just tied on. There we go, St James.